Hey lovelies, what's up? Let's make some red velvet cupcakes today. Now, red velvet cupcakes take different ingredients to give you that awesome taste, but I chose a simpler way to make my red velvet cupcakes. So, this is how I did it. I added my butter to my container along with my granulated sugar, and I set that aside. What I want to do next is to sift my dry ingredients. So I'm sifting some all-purpose flour, and along with my all-purpose flour, I am going to add my salt and my cocoa powder. So I'm using in total 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a quarter cup of cocoa powder, natural cocoa powder, and half teaspoon of salt. Just sift this through my strainer, and then I go back to my butter and sugar section, and that's just to cream it until it's light and fluffy, and then I'll add the rest of my ingredients. I realize that making your red velvet cupcake, you can use yogurt, you can use sour cream, you can use cream cheese as well. It depends on the taste, it depends on that flavor that you are going for. This is just a simple red velvet cupcake. I almost said cheesecake. No, I am creaming my butter and my sugar. And of course, I'll list my measurements in the description for you guys to have access to that. Of course, you scrape down the sides of your bowl when you're incorporating your ingredients. That's always a must. I have an error here. I thought I was recording what adding the rest of my ingredients after creaming the butter and sugar. I wasn't. So let me tell you, add 2 eggs to this also, 2 tablespoons of red food coloring, a cup of buttermilk, and I also added some vinegar to this along with some rose water. Nice flavor. Now this is going to be soupy because remember you've added your milk. After this process, I am going to fold in my dry ingredients. Some baking soda is also added at this stage. Give that a stir, and then I add my dry ingredients. So as you could see before, I made sure I mixed my flour and my cocoa powder mixture, so I incorporate that thoroughly before I added it to the wet ingredients. You can go ahead with your mixer if you choose to, but I just want to fold this in with my spatula here just to get that in nice and make sure it's incorporated. Then again, with the mixer, I'll have splatter going all over the place, so let me just use my spatula and get it in. Guys, if it's the first time you've been here, thank you so much for joining me, and if you've been here before, thank you so much for being back. Please remember that when you hit the like button, you help to support my channel. So I don't think it's too hard to do. Just hit the like button, right? Support for support. Yep. Anyway, when the butter is finished, I add that to my cupcake sheets, and I pop this into the oven and I bake this for 20 to 25 minutes. You want to make sure that when you go in with your toothpick, it comes out clean, and then you know that it's done. So please check when you are at 20 minutes. Now I am going to make some buttercream, and this is just simple buttercream. You know, buttercream is always like the regular vanilla buttercream, and it is simple to make. So I cream my butter first, and then I added my confectioner sugar. If you want to use the term icing sugar or powder sugar, it is the same sugar. Incorporate that together, and I also added some rose water to this along with some milk. Now you can also use heavy cream, and this helps to give the buttercream a softer, smoother texture, which I was going for. When I am basically finished incorporating this, I also added some vanilla, and that enhances the flavor because, as I said before, vanilla buttercream. This is to decorate my lovely, delicious red velvet cupcakes, and this really enhanced the flavor. You could have had it without, but trust me, this was like two thumbs up. Nice, smooth, and creamy. And it's just time to add this to my piping bag and then decorate. Of course, we add our cupcakes to the cooling rack, have them properly cool before adding our buttercream because we don't want that melting while we're adding it. And then that's it. You can leave as is, or you can choose to decorate. The main aim here is to just enjoy. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye.